well. But I think that, you know, a number of us right now are trying to seek out things like this, and I hope that I'll be continuing. Any questions?
I'm really excited about this because, you know, this looks to me like something I was handed in my freshman biology class in college. And having graduated with a bachelor's in biological sciences, you know, this is the type of stuff that would have excited me as a student to go on and pursue laboratory science, to think about ways I could bring my interest in science and think about it in different levels. And also to have students think about the scientific method by directly applying this to something that they see in the world, that they're exposed to. And it's just really awesome. I mean, I'm very excited that you also have an opportunity to think about new ways of teaching and thinking about mentoring as well. I mean, that's just a very unique experience. So I'm happy that you sought out this opportunity, and I hope this type of work motivates our students to pursue careers and more education in science and math in particular. So, and there's so many opportunities out there, and these fields are growing. And I like that North Reading is providing these types of experiences to our students. And thank you for doing that.
This is another, don't talk too loudly about actually another high school that might have worse lab facilities than we do. We don't want the word to get out on that. But this is another facilities challenged program in our, even though we may have a little bit of a better lab setup than Holbrook High School, we certainly aren't in the 21st century.
Don't worry about it. It can't get much worse.
But we're working with what we have out
Exactly.
there. We definitely are. I think that each and every one of us are doing everything we possibly can to make sure that our kids are being challenged and, you know, being relative to what everyone else is being exposed to.
I think in the same way the theater program works with what they have, I think all of our academic programs do the same thing here. It's also great to see a North Reading High School graduate who has come back to our system and is doing a great job and, you know, trying to make the best of what you have and also working hard to make yourself better so you can make your students better. I think that's great.
We've got the class of 2000 and 2001 represented tonight, right?
Yes, that's right.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, I should have mentioned that. It's
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
We're
right.
in the tops now, so.
The
Any other
other thing
questions?
that we need to keep in perspective is that as a nation, we spend a very small percentage of our dollars on educating in science. And we're way behind other countries. Just outspending ourselves. And we need to propagate more science. And of course, again, without any laboratory facilities. And I say without any, what we have is almost, I mean, we could almost do it all right here.
Right.
Yes, that's well.
This is something Mr. Kushakji has mentioned numerous times, and I'm actually going to bring it up a little later when Mr. Bernard is up here presenting his new course ideas for next year. I think we have one. I'll take one quick question.
I just wanted to make a comment from a parent's perspective, Ms. Corrett. It's very encouraging to hear not only that you're taking the initiative to do these types of programs, but you're obviously collaborating with your peers, because my daughter doesn't have you in her, you know, as a teacher, but not only am I hearing really good things from a lot of students about what's going on in their biology class, but they were very excited and couldn't wait to come home and talk to us about the DNA. They showed us the extraction. It's still on her dresser, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but it brings it to life, and I think that that's a really important thing, so I want to thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As part of this segment of the meeting, the last of the four presentations, I have Mr. Rosa, Michael Rosa, our newly appointed Director of Guidance. Mr. Rosa, if you will come up, has been a counselor here at the high school. This is his 7th year. And just about 6 weeks ago, I recommended his appointment to the position of the Director of the Guidance Department, which is a position we have not previously held. And I did that for a number of reasons. We have a wonderful guidance department, three terrific guidance counselors. By the way, Nancy Deary had a baby boy last night, so it's another one of about 9 maternity leaves I have this year. But she had a healthy baby. She's going to get it tomorrow, but there's no snow. She gets next year. But we have a terrific guidance department, and Mr. Rosa particularly has been very helpful to me in helping to advance a number of initiatives that have had a direct benefit to our families, really, because guidance is much more than just working with students at the high school. There's an awful lot of work that goes on with entire families. So what I've asked Mike to talk about with you tonight, and he may have other things that he wishes to share, because I kind of left it as in a broad way to just talk about some of the current initiatives that are new that might be informative to you all. But one thing that I think it might be of a particular interest is, because there's a cost savings to the school district, is our work that has gone on under Mike's leadership to, I think, to modernize us, but also to help save some money, and that is to lead into electronic transcript recording. As you can imagine, we're approaching senior classes now that are getting up to, in the 180 number, and our students have a healthy history of applying to a number of colleges and universities. So for each one of those students, a large number of them, again, are continuing their education beyond high school. And if they're applying to 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 colleges and universities, the transcripts add up. And we think that this initiative is something that's going to not only make it for greater efficiency, but also translates into some cost savings. And it multiplies itself out over time very quickly. So I know Mike does want to talk to you about the work that he's been doing with using our existing software system, the Retica system, to electronically report students' transcripts when they make application to college and universities. But I think also you might have some other things that you want to share about that, again, I think have more of a, not only a benefit to our students, but to our students and their families too. So Mike, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me first thank the committee for giving me this opportunity tonight. I'm excited anytime I get to talk about guidance-related stuff, and I don't know if it's as exciting as Barnum and DNA, but to me it is, but we'll try. Like Mr. Bernard said, I wanted to talk about an initiative that we've been working on this year, and I think the overarching goal of the initiative is for us to continue to utilize our use of technology to assist students when they're going through the post-secondary planning process. Probably about maybe 5 years ago or so, I came in front of the committee and talked about this new program, Naviance, that we were using. And Naviance's key feature really is it allows us to track admission trends at particular colleges and universities. And probably the most important feature in that is that it allows us to track those trends as they specifically apply to North Reading High School students. So I'm going to try and give you an example, and this is the data we've been building up for about 7 years. We can call up any college. I'm going to use Merrimack being, our neighbor here. We can call up Merrimack College, and we can look at a history over the past, I believe it's about 7 years now, of applications that we've sent to Merrimack College, and we can use, in terms of tracking admission trends, probably the most useful tool is we can call up a scattergram, which will allow us to plot those applications based on a student's GPA and a student's ACT or SAT scores, and sort of plot them along each axis. And we can get a sense of, when we poll the students at the end of the year and ask them, were you admitted, denied, waitlisted, you can get a sense of what the average student being admitted to, I use Merrimack as the example, sort of looked like. So obviously how we use that information is we're working with students in the current senior class, and they're asking us, here's my list of schools, does it seem like a good list? Do I seem like I have at least, some targets and some safety schools on there, and, sprinkle in maybe a few research or whatever. We can sit with that student and say, based on sort of the historical data, this is what it looks like. Obviously, that only sort of measures quantitative factors, GPA and SAT, so it's not, college admissions is not a perfect science by any stretch of the imagination. But we've been able to use it as a tool as we sit with students in our office and make sure they're generating an appropriate college list. So we talked about that. Now we have a lot of data in the Naviance system, and we're looking to, our initiative is to begin using the program sort of in all that it offers. So two main things that we're looking at going forward with and we're working on this year. One is a module of the program called Family Connections, where we can present students and their families with a username and password, a secure username and password, so they can access the information I was sort of just talking about at home. I think we're recognizing that a great deal, and anyone who's had sons or daughters go through the process in recent years, a great deal of the process happens at home, non-school hours, when we're not, available, sort of right at the student's fingertips. So we want the students to be able to sit while they're generating their list and access this type of data to make sure they're generating an appropriate list of schools. Also, what students will be able to access is the program gives them access to a college search tool. It provides there's different links that, it's provides them sort of one-stop shopping for links to information on financial aid, things like participating in athletics in college, if that's what the student's interested in, test preparation for the SATs, ACTs. So it sort of gives them that one-stop shopping where they can go to this program, do college searches, look at the admission trends, and link into this other data. So we've been looking into that and to see what we have to do to sort of provide that to parents and students. The other part is what Mr. Bernard alluded to. We would like to move forward with getting to the point where we can submit the documentation that the school has to submit when a student makes an application to college electronically. I think the vast majority of our students are submitting all their part of the process online now, including their application, SATs, everything. I think some of our seniors here tonight can attest to that. And over the last couple of years, Naviance has begun to make that available to us also. And we're seeing a lot of school districts moving towards using it if they haven't in the last couple of years. I think, as Mr. Bernard said, it obviously expedites the whole process. Students are hitting submit on their applications. The information's getting there within seconds. Students are probably processing and uploading it within days. So we'll be able to submit our transcript online. And just to give you an idea of sort of what goes with the transcript, it's a transcript and it's a school profile and it's a secondary school report and a guidance council letter. So there's quite a few documents that go. I looked up today to see how many transcripts we sent out last year for the senior class, and it was over just north of 1,200 transcripts. So you can see it was an average of just over 6, about 6.5 per graduating senior. So you can see the amount of paper and postage that we're putting out there. And that actually, I didn't even mention that we also send second term grades and final grades to every college, or the final grades go to the school that the student has indicated that they're attending. So our hope is that we'll be, by moving to the electronic transcript system, we'll becoming a little greener, a little more environmentally friendly, and will also be more cost effective for the district. I think the other part of it obviously is just expediting the process, for students. So we've taken steps to do that. We worked with Rediker at the beginning of the school year, and they helped us design a transcript that will be very amenable to be sent electronically. It's aesthetically pleasing. I think gives the colleges all the information they need. So that was a big process in designing that and getting Rediker to make it generate a report that would be useful to us. Now we need to go and look at making our other documents so that they can be sent electronically also. So those are two of the initiatives that we're really taking on this year and hoping to be up and running with next year. I think with the electronic transcripts, our goal is maybe to pilot it for a year. We've been talking to other school districts, and that seems to be what they're doing with a group of colleges, maybe 10 or 20 colleges that they work closely with, make sure things go well, iron out any wrinkles and go full throttle with it moving the following year. So thank you for giving me that opportunity. I wanted to be able to share some of that information with you. Please let me know if you have questions.
Thank you for saving us money.
Yeah, we're always looking to do, right?
Saving us money, saving paper.
Yeah.
Is something we are striving for here.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get better at it someday.
Sure.
But the question I have is, are we able to track, one of the issues that comes up a lot is not only tracking admissions or acceptances, but graduation. So once that student gets to Merrimack or whatever college they go to, are we able to track if they graduate, when they graduate, if they transfer, where they transfer to? Because some of those reports, I think, would be of interest, I think, probably to the committee and seeing how our students have fared when they went to
at college and stuff like that. I know we haven't done a report. I know Mr. Bernard has a follow-up survey that he does with graduating seniors, but I believe it's a little bit more geared towards their experience at North Reading High School. So that would be something that we have